so much for joining me for this session. This is going to be a nice, easy, very gentle stretch. Nothing very strenuous at all. Hopefully you can do this and find yourself winding down like you can just go right to bed. So I have not only one blanket but two, my blocks, and then also a bolster. So make sure you gather whatever props work for you. And of course, if you don't have, any of this stuff, it's okay. You can still do it, but they're really not, that pricey. You can get a bolster pretty much, probably, well, I don't want to say anywhere, but definitely online. All right, so let yourself take time to find that comfortable seat, letting yourself settle in on your breath. Taking time to let that breath get fuller and deeper. And that full, deep exchange of air and breath is what keeps you grounded and rooted in your self and where you're at right this very moment. And also the connection to that breath is what helps you to find that lift and that rise from within. Let that 3-part yoga breath start to develop when you're ready. This is when you fill up the lower third of your lungs, then the middle third, then the upper third, and then release fully, upper, middle, lower. Remember to treat yourself with kindness, compassion, and love, especially if you don't typically talk to yourself with kind words or in a loving way. Become aware of that and redirect how you speak to yourself, or practice how you speak to yourself. Also during this time, let yourself set aside the judge and the jury and just be with the witness. You're not judging things as good or bad. You're just aware, observing. You do so in a benevolent state. You're a benevolent observer, benevolent witness. Let the breath get as full as feels good. As you fill up the lower third of your lungs, press your navel, your belly into the space in front of you. The middle third, feel those ribs move up and apart. And the breath goes into the upper third. Feel that heart move up in the chest. And then exhale, heart and chest release. Ribs move down and together. And then you pull that navel back and up into your body. And then the inhale happens again. And you fill up navel, ribs, chest. Exhale fully, chest, ribs, navel. Whenever your body doesn't feel comfortable in whatever way you're sitting, make sure that you arrange yourself so that you do feel comfortable. Never letting your feet or your legs get tingly. Always trying to maneuver and move yourself into comfort before they get to those heightened sensations. Keep pressing yourself down into the place that you are seated in, and then also keep lifting yourself up in that place, pay attention to how both of those things, the rooting down and the rising up, come from within. The breath is still full and deep. Navel, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, navel. And then you can open your eyes, crack your eyes open. You can start to unwind from that seated position, just letting your legs come from uncrossed, or lengthen them out in front of you. Taking time to let the back of those legs start to wake up. Keep rooting down into the place that you are. Keep lifting up. And then just let the toes point and then flex the feet. Keep those knees really, really soft. You're not hyperextending anything. Your arms can be gently on the floor as you move back and forth just at that ankle joint, and then pause, bring the toes up and then swing them in and then swing them out. So you're just moving that ankle in the opposite or a different direction, inhaling and exhaling. And then bring yourself back to pressing through the heels, lifting the toes, and then let the toes drop over to the right. So both feet moving around in a circle to the right, and then pause and moving around in a gentle circle. It's not a big move. Moving around to the left. And then if you want to move those toes, getting them to not wake up, but just move around, getting some space in between the joints, moving around, and then pause, letting yourself just be seated in your seated position, letting those legs extend in front of you. They're a little bit wider now. Remember, you can use your hands on the floor. This is also a good place. You're not hurting your shoulder or your elbow. You're just using it as a little bit to help you lift and support. And so first start with the toes up to the sky, and then drop the right toes to the right, and then bring them and drop them as much as you can to the left. And you are just moving that right hip, and you're moving the right leg in the right hip. And then let the right toes stay to the right, drag the heel to the left, and then pick those toes up, drag the heel to the right. Drop those toes, drag the heel to the left, pick up those toes, drag the heel to the right. And just a couple more times. And then you're going to pause, keep this leg nice and active. It's part of your base. Keep lifting those kneecaps up into your thighs, both kneecaps up into your thighs, and then you are dropping those toes, inhaling and exhaling. Remember, you're not straining anything. Your fingers are not strained. Your wrists are not strained. And then leave the toes to the left and drag the heel over to the right, and then bring the toes up and drag the heel, bring the toes down and drag the heel, bring the toes up and drag the heel. And then you can let that movement go, and you can bring your legs back into a position that feels good if you want to bring the soles of your feet together, or if you want to bring one leg in front of the other, just letting yourself lift up into that space around you, and then bringing your arms up to shoulder height. Press through those heels of those hands. Keep those elbows nice and not hyperextended. Press down, feel that stretch down the top of your hand, and then move back and forth a couple times. Keep those shoulder blades engaged so you're not squeezing the shoulder blades together, but you are pulling them out of your ears. Inhale and exhale. All right, pause, palms turn up, and then turn the fingers in and then out. Breathing full and deep, and then palms down, bring the fingers in and out. And just be careful you're not straining anything. And then pause if you want to make a fist, gentle fist, and then let your hands move around that wrist in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Try to keep the top of the hand pointing to the sky, and then let that go and just breathe full and deep. And then we're just going to do a gentle twist. This is not a big twist, so I just want you to press down into the space and then gently turn to the left. It's not a big move. And then move through center to turn to the right. So you're not really twisting a lot. Try to really feel this right at your spine. Try to feel your spine like in the very middle of your body as you gently twist side to side. And then pause. Doesn't matter what side you pause at. Keep pressing down and lifting up. Inhaling and exhaling. You don't twist around as far as you can go. This is very gentle, very subtle. Bring yourself back through center and let yourself gently wind, not very far, just a little bit to the other side. Still find that rooting down, still find that rising up. Breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest. I try to keep my navel pointing towards the front or between my legs, and my heart is winding around. And then bring yourself so now the heart is back on top of the navel, and then this is going to be chin down towards the chest, and then gently lift up, lower, and lift that head. You don't want to fling your head all the way back, but you're getting that nice pretty much like 180 opening there. And then pause, then bring the chin down and drop one ear over one shoulder. Breathing full and deep. This is not a big move. These are little moves. You're still trying to root down, and you're also trying to lift up. Breathing full and deep. And then pause. Lift your head now to a neutral position. Keep that shoulder girdle engaged and look over one shoulder, and then turn and look over the other shoulder. So this is just a tiny little movement of your head. Breathing full and deep. Navel, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, navel. And then pause in that neutral position. Notice how you feel. Breathing full and deep. And then take time to come around onto those hands and knees. Make sure you've got cushion for your knees. Make sure you're taking care of yourself if you need a drink of water. And let yourself move into your child's pose, pressing yourself back. I walk my legs as wide apart. You know, sometimes it's really wide, sometimes it's not very wide. It's never out of control. And then I'm pressing down in between my legs. I'm trying to bring my glutes, my bum, to my heels. It's never going to touch, but I'm trying to get, that's the sensation. And then I reach my arms forward. Now, I am using the blocks, and it is causing more sensation. It is a bigger stretch, so you do not have to use the blocks. Breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, navel. So I'm pressing back and down with my whole self, and I'm reaching up and forward with my whole self, no matter what position I am in. And the more you connect to that place right there behind your navel, that place right there behind your heart, you're looking for navel and heart, and then blades and dimples. Breathing full and deep. You're always looking for those landmarks and trying to pull yourself into a place of support. All right, lift up a little bit so you can walk yourself over to one side. Keep pressing yourself back to the space behind you as you gently walk over to one side. I have started with the left, and I've got blocks and I'm up pretty high, so that might cause more sensation than you want. So remember, you don't have to do as much. All right, lift yourself up. You're always taking care of yourself. I'm going to move this bolster. Move over to the other side so you get that nice side stretch. You are pressing back and down with your whole self right into that space behind you, and then gently moving into that side stretch. I'm reaching to the right now, and then bring yourself back through center to come back into then another child. And you can also stack your hands on top of each other. That feels really good. I like to rest my third eye right there. You can also bring your arms back by your feet. Sometimes that feels good. Inhaling and exhaling. Now come up into table and try to remember to engage your shoulder and your hip girdle so you stay in those places of support. You're not hyperextending those elbows, and you can start to make some circles with your body. Inhaling, and you can pretend like you have a tail and you are drawing circles or figure eights on the wall behind you. Maybe there's zigzags. And then make sure you go in the opposite direction. And you can come as far forward as feels good. You can come as far back as feels good. If you come into that cobra coming forward, make sure that you are always protecting your body. You're never straining. Inhaling and exhaling, breathing full and deep. Make sure you go in all the directions. You can pause anywhere, like coming on to one side. You're always protecting those elbows, never going into hyperextend mode, walking your knees to wherever feels good. Moving through a few cat and cows, making sure that you are protecting, like I said, those elbows. Inhaling and exhaling. And then once again, you will pause and let yourself settle back into that child's pose, whatever that looks like to you. Breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs, navel. And then coming up into that upright table position. This is a good stretch. And to have blocks, always make sure that you are supporting yourself. We're going to stretch those legs a little bit. Bring that right knee right underneath your right hip, and then send that left leg out to the left. Have it be right out of your hip so it's not towards the front or towards the back. And then using your arms on the floor or the blocks, you can start to move back and move your arms forward if that feels good. That left leg comes out a little bit, and you get this nice stretch. You are trying to pull yourself down to the floor as you get this nice stretch down the inside of that left thigh. Inhaling and exhaling. Remember to protect the left kneecap. You're always never out of control. You're going to lift yourself up and then you're going to swing that left leg now so it is on the other side of the right leg. Press back through that heel, press down evenly into both arms, and then gently look over those right shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling, staying with your breath. And then you're going to bring that left knee down to next to the right knee. So same thing, other side. I'll come and turn this way. So bring that right leg out to the right or the opposite leg, and then you're protecting the knee, breathing full and deep. I always try to keep my toes and my knee pointing in the same direction. Sometimes I smear down my foot, but a lot of times I leave it up. So really that's one of those things where you get used to that. And then I'm going to press myself back and get that nice long stretch, always protecting that knee. Inhaling and exhaling. Stay with that breath. So keep that knee bent in order to protect it. Make sure your arms are not hyperextending out of the shoulder girdle. You're staying aware as you lift yourself up. If you're down too far, and then you're going to swing that leg to the right leg to the left, press back through that heel, try to find that ball, and then gently look over those left shoulders, breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest, and then both knees down, and to once again press back into that child, resting completely. And then if you wanted to use the bolster, child with the bolster feels amazing, especially if you get it, right between your legs, and then if it feels comfortable with your upper body. You've got glasses on, you might want to take glasses off. So you can lay one cheek down or the other cheek, breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest. Oh, it feels so wonderful. Then exhale, chest, ribs, navel. I forgot where I was. You're breathing in and out, inhaling and exhaling. Keep trying to press yourself back with your whole self. Keep trying to reach yourself forward. The bolster is a wonderful addition, but if it does not suit you, don't force yourself. And if you don't have one, you can always makeshift something. If you don't have, a regular yoga bolster, and out of blankets or regular pillows, inhaling and exhaling. And then take your time to come up into that upright position to once again bring yourself over onto your behind. Taking time to find that comfortable seat. Keep that bolster near you. You don't have to have the bolster, but if you've got it, it might feel good. We're going to have those legs be, I'll turn this way, have those legs be as wide as feels good. It doesn't have to be a really super wide stretch. And if you want the bolster, this is where you can also take a block. So you lift up, and then even if you want more cushion, like I'll put the blanket down, and then coming into the forward fold, might still need to be even a little bit more here. I can also do 2 blocks. So this is one of those things where as you get used to doing stuff, then you can let one cheek rest and then the other. Inhale and exhale. Stay with your breath. Forward folds are so good. for resetting, recentering, helping to calm down. All right, if you do have yourself draped over the bolster, just go ahead and lift yourself up. Or if you're just reaching forward with blocks, I mean, that totally also is, of course, wonderful. All right, bring those legs together. Don't let those blocks go too far. Shake them out. If you want to turn the ankles a little bit. And then bring the soles of the feet together into that butterfly. It doesn't have to be a really big butterfly, or this has to be whatever feels good to you. Bringing those heels as close to you as feels good, you're going to get different sensation. And then letting yourself walk forward into another forward fold, this time with your legs in this butterfly position. This is another great place for blocks where you can rest your elbows and keep pressing your whole self back and down as you try to reach your whole self up and forward. It's always happening. Doesn't matter if you're doing slow and gentle or moderate or intense yoga. It's all the same. Breathing full and deep. You're always trying to find those girdle engagements, and you're always breathing those full, deep breaths. And you're pressing down and you're lifting up, always at the same time. Inhaling and exhaling. Stay with that breath. Take your time. Lift yourself up into that upright position. Bring those legs together or send them out forward. If you want to do a little windshield wiper, that might feel good. If not, maybe you just send them out in front of you, or you do some combination of that. We're gonna, if you don't have your knees bent, go ahead and bend to the knees and then drop them over to one side. I'm dropping them over to the right. I'm not stacking the right knee on top, or the right foot on top of the left knee, or the left knee on top of the right foot. And then using those blocks, I'm going to gently wind around. I've got my feet flexed in order to have that base. And then let yourself move into that hip opener, kind of with an added twist. You never have to go very far around. Inhaling and exhaling. Stay with your breath. Keep trying to find that rooting in and then that rising. All right, lift yourself. You're going to come around to the other side. So take your time. Bring those legs up into that neutral position, knees back up to the sky, and then everything comes over to the other side. Try not to stack. Flex as much as feels good to you. You might not like all that engagement. I think it just adds a wonderful extra. And then let yourself settle on those elbows if that would feel good. Breathing full and deep, navel, ribs, chest. Exhaling fully, chest, ribs. Ah. Breathing full and deep. The kettlebells went a rolling. And then take your time, come back through center. We're going to make our way onto our back. The blocks, of course, are always such a great prop, so make sure that you've got them somewhere near you. The bolster, as same thing, is such a great prop. We're going to end, or towards the end, we're going to do some heart opener. But first we're going to come down and we're going to do a pigeon on our back. And this is where, if you want to use the blocks to either step on, which I think is amazing, or not. So if you're going to step on them, you get them somewhere so they are right about where your feet are going to be. Make sure that when you lay down, you come onto your back, you set yourself up for that place of support. So pulling your tail down and lifting those hip flexors so your lower girdle comes into that place of support. Try to find all those ribs on the mat. Try to find yourself pulling those shoulder blades out of those ears, and then coming into that beginning bridge position. I'm going to pop my feet on the blocks. I'm going to bring that right ankle on top of that left knee. I'm going to keep trying to bring that right glute down to the floor as I gently press away with both of my hips down towards the floor. Now, keeping those ribs on the floor, if you want to, only if it serves you, lift and reach to come into that bigger stretch. If you lift up, try to bring yourself back down. If you can't bring yourself back down with that nice long neck and if your shoulder blades are coming off the mat, then it might be too much. You can also use a towel or a strap here in order for you to keep your upper body on the mat. You want to keep your butt down on the mat. No matter what you choose to do, keep breathing full and deep. Flex those feet. And it can look like whatever it looks like, inhaling and exhaling, just staying with the breath. All right. If you have that left thigh, bring that left foot down, bring that right foot off that left knee. Take a moment. Do a little windshield wiper if that would feel good. Especially if you do that engagement. It helps to do those resets. You can also do circles. Remember, you're trying to keep those behinds on the floor. And then it is the other side's turn. So now left ankle on right knee. Keep trying to press that left glute into the floor. Keep trying to bring your whole back. Keep your neck long. Inhale and exhale. Stay with your breath. Only reaching for that bigger stretch. Reaching that arm through. If you lift up, come back down. Inhale and exhale. Stay with your breath. And then take your time, letting yourself release, bringing those feet, if you are on blocks, bring them down or kick them out of the way a little bit so you can have everything on the floor as you move in the windshield wiper or the rock or the circle, inhaling and exhaling. And then keep your whole body on the mat. Keep that left knee bent, that left foot on the floor, and then send that right heel up to the sky. You're trying to really smear down your whole upper body. So pull those shoulder blades down, engage them. Try to bring all the ribs on the floor. Keep the kneecap pulled up into your thigh and start to make some gentle circles. And then rotate. Keep trying to melt into the mat. Keep trying to lengthen and spread out as much as you can, trying to get that, all your ribs down. All right, Let the circles go in all the directions, and then when you feel complete, if it would feel all right to you, keep pulling that navel up into your spine and then not letting those shoulders come out, those arms come out of the shoulder socket. If you want to reach towards those right toes or just up that right leg, inhale and exhale. You can also, oops, don't kick a block, put that left leg out, inhale and exhale. And then if you do have your upper body raised, let the let the upper body come down, let the right leg come down, breathing full and deep. And then keep that right foot where it is, keep smearing your back, press through that left heel, trying to press your whole self down, let yourself move in those circles with the ankle a few times. And then only if it serves you, reach. And then let yourself come down to once again come into the reset posture. And then roll to one side, press yourself up. We're going to come into the heart opener for a few moments. And this can be blocks or, but blocks are pretty active, so you might want to make this restorative, especially if you're trying to wind down. And so that would be best with the bolster, and or you can wind or roll up a blanket. And so make sure you are still protecting your low back. You're pulling that. See, I got my knees bent, I got my feet on the floor, and I'm pulling my tail, pulling it away, and then I'm going to bring my tail down. So now my tail's down, and then pull those blades. Now I am pulling them together as I bring that heart up, and then lay over the bolster. And this is also where, if your neck doesn't quite feel too comfortable, you can also use a blanket to get a little bit more cushion. Your legs don't have to stay feet on the floor, knees bent. You can have them butterfly, you can have them extended. Remember, if your low back is feeling twingy or dicey, then really pull that tail down. You're putting the weight in the glutes. Make sure that tail is heavy. And your full and deep breaths help to keep you anchored in this very present moment. And if you've got some time, lay here in that restorative posture, or come out of the heart opener and find yourself just on your back laying in Shavasana, or you can also come and sit in meditation for a few moments if you've got 3, 5, 7, 10 minutes, in order to let yourself keep developing and letting those residuals get deep into your muscle memory. So thank you so much. Take care. Namaste. Goodbye.